This is the Voice of the Land podcast with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
Happy Sunday evening, everybody, and welcome. Let me be among the first to welcome you officially to NFL Draft Week here in Cleveland, Ohio. If others have already said that, I'm just borrowing what they said. If anybody says it after, and you're listening or watching this, well, just know where you heard it first, right here on the Voice of the Land. That's right, we are live here tonight. Voice of the Land, a Big Play production, all a part of the Big Play Network and partnered with LPV Productions. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold, and alongside me, as always, my brother, Nick the Bear Paulus, as I hear he's affectionately known now, and our producer extraordinaire behind that proverbial glass, because you'll never see him on camera. Maybe in the future. We already had some conversations about that. Maybe not. We'll see. But Peter Tellup on the ones and twos tonight, making us sound and look as good as possible. As we said, it is draft week. We are going to get into all things NFL draft. Hopefully, people that are getting to attend this week, you enjoy everything downtown. I know the weather doesn't look great for some of the days, but there will be plenty of things to do down there. And those that, of course, have both of their vaccinations, if you get to be a part and actually go to the actual draft stage, have fun with that. Show everybody, show the nation why Cleveland is the center of the football universe, not just for 3 days, but every day out of the year. We will get into some Browns conversations here to start off the show and talk some Indians later on. And nice little fun topic with the Oscars coming up tonight. You know, maybe what's the best or worst thing you've watched throughout the year? We'll get into all those conversations here in just one moment. But I know we were off last week, but we're back this week and got to get our sponsor, thank you, out of the way to start off the show tonight. DP Construction, LLC. Reach out to them for all your concrete construction needs. Yeah, the weather wasn't great today, and we've really seen the gambit of all of the weather over the last couple weeks. If you've ever seen the GV Artwork shirt of those that 7-day forecast where you can get fall, winter, spring, and summer all in 1 week, well, we have seen that over the last couple weeks. But it is getting warmer, getting those concrete construction projects where the driveways, place out back for setting up a hoop or some sort of outdoor patio. Reach out to the guys over there at DP Construction LLC. Tyler LaFrauda, Uncle Steve, they will get the job done for you. They will make it look beautiful. You can always see those pictures. We mention it every single week on their Facebook page under the same name, DP Construction LLC. Reach out to them by phone, 330-217-4999. That is 330-217-4999. Or hit up Tyler at his email, tylerlafrauda@gmail.com. So thank you to DP Construction for their sponsorship of the Voice of the Land. And you may see that I'm kind of a sitting billboard here on the show. I told you.
Sweet hat, man.
I know, right?
It's pretty dope. I love it.
I told you at some point in April I was going to be rocking the hat.
That's true, yeah.
This is comfortable.
Is it?
This hat is really comfortable. And it looks nice. The lettering on it is beautiful. I got the T-shirt. You guys want your gear? You know where to go, voiceoftheland.com. Hit it up, and of course, right across the top there, easy access. You got the shop tab right up at the top of the page. You got all the shows from past episodes, whether it was here with Big Play and other things we have done since we have been able to partner with Big Play and LPV Productions. But hit up that shop. You can get T-shirts, long sleeve shirts, mugs with our faces, without our faces, hats, and more to come with that. But hit up the shop, and you're heading down to the draft, throw on your Voice of the Land gear. People are wondering, oh, what's Voice of the Land? Help us out with a little extra advertisement out there as well. It's one thing if I'm just here on camera when I'm already doing the show. It's another thing if you're in front of people that may not know and they check us out, get the conversation going, and we can all be truly the voice of the land. It is draft week, but there's been some Browns news and notes that we have kind of missed. And to people out there tuning in, of course, at VTL_pod on Twitter or on Big Play's Facebook page or YouTube page, Sportscaster, wherever you're tuning in tonight, even if you're listening throughout the week on Google, Spotify, or Apple. The Browns picked up the fifth-year options on Baker Mayfield and Denzel Ward and kind of expected that to happen, but you expect extensions. So my first question to everybody tuning in tonight, and to my fellow brothers here on the Voice of the Land, then the Browns picking up those fifth-year options, but we have not seen or heard any conversation of extensions just yet with these two cornerstone pieces for the Cleveland Browns. Does picking up the fifth-year option indicate anything to you in terms of it's just a step in the direction of the extension, or trying to give themselves more time with maybe some early conversations that aren't going the way that they would like them to?
I think personally that this is just like a formality.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is something that a lot of teams do. I know Andrew Luck, Cam Newton have all signed fifth-year options, but so has Blake Bortles, so has RG3, so has a lot of other, quarterbacks as well. I feel like there's only two types of quarterbacks that don't sign fifth-year options. The Mitchell Trubisky's, that just aren't good, unfortunately for them and everyone that's surrounded by them, especially the team that picked them. They're just not good enough to get that extension. They didn't show enough promise to get that, extension, to get that extra look. It's the reason why you draft them so high.
Right.
That's why you draft them in the first round, is to, go, hey, we got him for 5 years. Whenever you're Mitchell Trubisky or Sam Darnold or any of those guys, you don't sign them to that fifth-year option, and that's okay. But then you look on the other side, the other ones that don't sign them, Patrick Mahomes. Like, Patrick Mahomes is the only other quarterback that goes 3 years and then signs a 10-year, $500 million deal. Those are the only quarterbacks. Okay. So Baker is obviously somewhere in the middle. He's obviously way closer to Patrick Mahomes than he is Mitchell Trubisky. Okay. But that does mean that we just get him for that extra year. We get him for that extra year to lock him up for $19 million, which is cheap, honestly, for a starting quarterback in the NFL. Arguably, you can make the argument that he's a top 10, top 12 quarterback in the NFL. So for $19 million for that fifth year, that's easily a bargain. I think that this does leave open the door, though, for them to talk extensions. They did it with Miles as well. Miles signs his fifth-year option, and then a couple months later, boom, there you go, $125 million deal. I think we're sort of trending towards the same thing with Baker. I think that he's probably going to sign. I hope it's this offseason, before the season starts, maybe June, July, right around the same time Miles did last year here for us. Just lock him up, get it done and over with. We know he's the guy. I think we're all in agreement that Baker, what he showed last year, it was a rough start, but honestly, no training camp, literally met the coach, in July or August, and then they go 11-5. They beat the Steelers back-to-back games, one of those being in the playoffs in Pittsburgh. There goes the 17-year curse again. So, and then he had Kansas City on the ropes. I truly believe if you give him one more possession, we win that game. So really, you fix up the defense, and then we kind of go from there. Pay Baker whatever he wants. At this point in time, I am all for it, okay? Now, $500 million is a steep price. I'm not saying that. But to the extent of, I could see something of like a, $225, $250 million contract. It's a lot of money. But if you do it for the extended amount of time, like a 7-year contract, I truly believe that you're setting yourself up for a victory, because in a couple of years, after the TV revenue comes in and everything like that, it's going to be looked at as like a bargain of a price, because I guarantee you someone else is going to sign, whether that's maybe if you like him enough, Trevor Lawrence down the road or whoever, they're going to sign an even bigger contract. So it is going to be viewed as a bargain. As long as you have the coach and quarterback combo, you're set. And I think that we all agree with that we're set.
Yeah, there's no disagreement or argument that can be made there, at least on this panel. Other people may. We already got people chiming in on the chat on Twitter. Nick Padone, fellow member of the Big Play Network and Browns fan and friend of the show.
Absolutely.
Already saying, here we go, Brownies, here we go. And do have Ed in Columbus chiming in as well, saying, Cleveland is known as the mistake on the lake, but the only team making a mistake on the lake this week, literally, will be the New York Jets. And we'll get into some of those storylines here.
Zach Wilson, that's going to be a stretch, I think. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Because a lot of these draft decisions that we're going to talk about here in just a moment, you really can't grade out fully until kind of that 3-year window. You give these guys 3 years, unless guys are just absolutely awful, and you just know within the first year they're not going to be able to be a part of your organization moving forward. But these are the guys that in the draft people are going to take, saying this is going to be a guy that's a cornerstone. We have 2 of those. We picked up their 5th-year option. You kind of mentioned with Miles, that's how they operate. They picked up the option, then he signed a few months later. We're kind of getting used to things for what good organizations do and what that philosophy and kind of standard level of practice looks like. So, Peter, are we just seeing kind of the standard procedure now? The 5th-year option being picked up is just what they do, and then those conversations, it kind of leads to the contract extensions? Or is there any cause for concern when people are saying 5th-year option or extension, not one and the same as part of the process?
I don't think there's a cause for concern right now, because if you think about it this way, we got the draft coming up, we got new people coming in, and I'm sorry if I sound a little tinny on this mic. For some reason, I'm having a little issue with it.
A little bit. It's fine. You're good.
Yeah.
But I think this gives them the ability to see where they are in the draft, look at the numbers, because we still have to meet salary cap. There's still a lot of things we have to do. So I think once they know what the draft looks like, what they have and what they need to do to bring the new players in, then that gives them, I think, a better roadmap of what they can offer Baker. I agree, paying the money. It's weird that we're having a conversation. I feel kind of like a fish out of water here, because this whole we have a process in place, and we have a coaching staff, and we have a quarterback, and we have
something that's never been around here for 30 years.
Right. We had processes. They just imploded like a dumpster fire every single year.
Okay. We have a good process.
There we go. An acceptable process.
Right. I don't think there's any cause for concern right now with it, but I think everyone would go to bed feeling much warmer and fuzzier if we, had Baker locked up to a 10-year deal. But
I think it would also shut up, all of the national media, because I think everyone in Cleveland all agrees with it as well. But like the national media, I'm not going to throw their names out there. They don't deserve to have their names, put out here, for that.
Exactly what they want.
But we know exactly who those guys are. But if they understand and realize, this is who we have, and this is who we're going to be rolling with, I'm totally fine with that. What we saw the second half of last year is closer to what I think Baker's career is going to end up being, long term. As long as he has a stable coaching system and players around him, I understand you're not going to be able to pay everybody. And, does that mean that you're probably going to lose some of these wide receivers, maybe Jarvis, maybe Odell down the road?
Yes.
Not this year, but maybe next year, the year after. Okay, cool. And that'll suck. I don't say like, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm totally fine with it. But I understand the process of winning in the NFL. Baker's eventually going to need to start making people better. And I think that we look at someone like a Rashard Higgins, Hollywood Higgins. We absolutely love the guy. And we know that he plays better whenever Baker's better whenever Hollywood is on the field.
Right.
Okay. That's not just something that we can really throw away. They make each other better. And that's a good sign. That's a great sign to have if you're a quarterback. If you can make I don't want to say a lesser known receiver, but not a superstar receiver, play at a superstar level at times, that's big time. Like, you can't teach that in quarterbacks. They either have it or they don't. And Baker definitely has it.
So is Hollywood Baker's Gronk?
Baker's Gronk? That's I don't know. I don't know about that.
I see where he's going with that.
I see it more along the lines of like, and I love Hollywood, and this is a weird comparison to throw out there, but like, and I'm not saying they're these guys, okay? Yeah. But like Tom Brady did have Julian Edelman. Now, Julian Edelman he's not a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He's a damn good receiver, and he's a better receiver than Hollywood is overall, okay? But he was a later round pick that Tom Brady trusted enough to get him out on the field and start making big plays. And then that sort of formed into a great relationship, a great workmanship. And I think that's what Baker and Rashard have. I think that they're going to be great together as long as like we can get some sort of long-term deal, finish up with Baker's long-term deal. And I truly believe if Hollywood balls out this year, and I think he will, in this offense, I think the third, fourth wide receiver gets a lot of looks. Like they get a lot of looks, and like they just need to capitalize on it. And every time the ball goes to Hollywood, he capitalizes on it. I think he has like an 80% catch rate. Like that is damn fine in the NFL. You can't find that anywhere else.
Well, and let's remember too that they are going into the second year of the same coaching staff, the same system, and now they streamline. Kevin Stefanski has talked about how, not necessarily streamlined, but they found what Baker did well out of the playbook and kind of went with that. Now that he feels more comfortable with maybe the complexities of what this playbook is trying to do, now you can open up more. If you didn't have everything available last year, now you can just add, tinker, go from there in these virtual meetings of what they're going to do. It's going to look basically the same that it did last year with players wanting to kind of go more virtual until training camp. They liked how that didn't put as many miles on their body with having to get into the OTAs, the physicality of it, putting that strain on their bodies earlier than what they were able to do last year. But it's going to become repetition. It's going to become second nature to these guys on offense. And now you can utilize OBJ and Jarvis, and defenses are going to have to filter to those guys. Well, who's going to feed off of that in games when defenses are really keyed on your top two? You're going to have Hollywood Higgins. You're going to have Kadarius Hodge. You're going to have your tight ends.
Austin Hooper, right.
You're going to have Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb coming out of the backfield or running down your throat. Like, there's so many different angles, and that's all together. Now they're trying to build the defense up to be at that same level. And, yeah, they got big names on this roster, and they're not going to be around forever because of these extensions.
Yeah.
But it's building the culture with talented players. Now, you brought up that comparison to Julian Edelman. Yeah, he wasn't an early round pick. He's not. If he has another quarterback, does he have as big of a career? Some people may hit you up on Twitter, maybe. I don't know if Julian will. Like, who was it from Kansas City hit you up?
Tyrann Mathieu. Oh, yeah.
Honey Badger.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely watches. Shout out Tyrann. Shout out Honey Badger.
I mean, saying Julian Edelman is not a Hall of Famer, there'll be people coming at you. I'm not. Like, I agree with you, but it's that kind of.
If there was a Hall of Fame for postseason, he's in.
Right.
He's second all time in receiving yards in the postseason, second to Jerry Rice. He should be in because of that. But for the overall Hall of Fame,
right?
Like the dude doesn't have a Pro Bowl. I don't think he has a Pro Bowl. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have an All Pro. Like, sorry, that stuff gets you in. Your numbers get you in. I don't even think he has over 7,000 yards. Like, but in the playoffs, the dude balls out and game time, big game time stuff. And that's where Higgins comes in. Higgins had like 130 yards in the KC game and like should have had the touchdown. Like that's like all of this comes into play. So,
well, he was Brady's security blanket with New England. And, Gronk was kind of that, more of a flashier player than Edelman was. But he was a later round pick. And I think GM Andrew Berry said it best, how he views the draft. It's guys that, you're not trying to get just immediate satisfaction. Like, and especially if you're a good team, you're not trying to get immediate impact. You're trying to have these guys be depth and build the roster so that when you may have to lose a guy you signed like a Jadeveon Clowney, a big name to only a 1-year contract, you have guys ready to step in because they're not asked to play every single down the next year or that very same year, and they're getting ingrained in the culture. The veterans are in their ear, just like the coaches are in their ear, and they know what their job is. Edelman knew what his job was. Higgins knows what his job is, and he loves doing that here. Him and Baker have that kind of chemistry. And, yeah, Baker is the guy. I don't know if signing the extension will shut up the national media. There are ones that are going to criticize Baker, to criticize Baker, to get people to respond. That's why we don't retweet a lot of their stuff or quote tweet. We don't, say their name.
I do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just can't stop myself sometimes.
I wasn't trying to out you.
No, it's okay. Uncle Colin sometimes has really good takes, though.
Sometimes he does. And to get in the industry, he's good at what he does. And now he's transitioned that into...
He's one of the best, right.
To trolling. One of the best with the takes has transitioned into one of the best with trolling takes.
Yeah.
And he gets people to respond. They're always going to do that. That's going to be here or it's not. It's up to Baker, it's up to Denzel to continue to perform if and when they do get paid, which I think that they will, and this is just part of this process now for this front office. When they do get paid, it's about continuing the same mindset you had last year, transitioning that into each and every single year, because you cannot bank on, hey, we were 11-5 last year. We beat the Steelers in the first round. We get to start right at the divisional round of the playoffs and try to restart right there. This isn't a video game where you have those save points throughout. It starts all the way over. You got to try to win the whole game. You got to beat it in one round, or else you got to go back to the beginning.
Right.
And these guys are ready. They are determined. I watched Building the Browns today. Everybody on these voluntary meetings.
You made a cameo, right?
Yeah, but then I got called out to be, kind of compared to Bigfoot because you can barely tell it's me. I'll be compared to Bigfoot all day. I mean,
that dude gets noticed all the time.
That's a famous video right there.
You don't have to see me. You don't have to see me to know I exist.
We got the green screen over here now. I'm sure we could probably recreate it. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Can we recreate it with a Bigfoot costume?
No doubt.
Okay,
no doubt.
Right.
We'll have you waving out a window like this. So.
Hey, all I know is our buddies Eminent and Drive, they noticed me. They were inside doing the radio stuff for you guys over at 850. And I'm masked on. I got all my warm clothes on in that parade. And I'm just waving.
I think you got a shout out on 850 as well. Hey, what up, Kevin? Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Because I could read their mouths. I was like, is that Kevin? Is that Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me.
I'm here.
I made it. Yeah. I'm driving through. We actually turned around and went through 2 times.
Did double victory lap. I like it. Okay, there you go.
Well, there wasn't anybody in that parade. Like the first round, it looked like a lot of people in the parking lot lined up. But once they got everybody going, it was there was no energy.
Yeah.
Once we went around the second time, they're going 2 lanes, and they got Chomps out there. They got Browns legends.
Everyone's going crazy.
I'm having this conversation with Ernest Biner right there, and it was a good time with that. And, we're gonna get more moments like that, and that's what this draft is going to add to. So to transition to the draft, as we kind of mentioned, is there a name now that you've had some time to think about it that Paulus, you hope, and anybody else out there tuning in, send us the names, send us the position. Is there a name that you want to fall to the Browns, or a position you want to fall to the Browns at 26 in the first round?
Kyle Pitts. No, I'm joking.
No, we already know you're getting him in fantasy.
No doubt. You
don't have to worry about that.
I would love to see someone, and it's not going to happen, but J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn to me is that dude. And I don't think whoever we draft at 26, if we stay at 26 or trade back, I don't think whoever we get at that point in time is going to become a starter, at least for this year.
Okay.
Going forward, they sure as hell better be a starter there for us. But I think for this year, because this is a Super Bowl roster, just flat out, it just is. Whoever you're picking in the draft at this far back, it's viewed as maybe, that first backup option, a guy that you plan on getting him a lot of game reps, but he's probably not going to start for you.
Right. Rotation. Heavily rotated.
Heavily rotated, but a great rotation player there for you, and someone that you view that will become a star/starter in the league. I think Newsome from Northwestern, I think it would be a great pick there for us, but I think that you're going to have to trade up to get him. And I do see the Browns, honestly, because we're not walking away. We have 9 draft picks going into this. I think they don't come away with, 6 players. I truly think that they make only 5 selections this year. So whether that means that they trade out, for
Right.
future picks or anything
Yep.
like that, take it as you will. But I think we only come away with 5 players this coming up weekend. I think Newsome, though, trading up to like 20, 22, I believe the Bears are at 22. Like trading up to get someone like that, Newsome from them, I think would be awesome. Now, Tony Grossi did state, that it's not that he heard rumblings, but he feels that the New England Patriots are looking to get a corner as well. And they're sitting at 15. So they might draft a corner. Maybe JC Horn goes to them. And then they're looking to dump off Stephon Gilmore. I would take Stephon Gilmore in a heartbeat. Like, give them, probably a 3rd round pick. Start with like a 3rd round pick because you have 2 of them. If you give them a 3rd round pick to get Stephon Gilmore here, I think that is a win of all wins. But as a draftable player, I would love to have Newsome. I would love to have someone as a cornerback. I'm all for that. I know Tavier, God, what's his name? Who's the linebacker that everyone wants?
Zavon Collins.
Yeah,
Right?
right. It's Collins, right? Yeah,
Collins out of
Tulsa.
Whatever.
Out of Tulsa. The guy, I can't remember his name, off the top of my
The
head.
names aren't sticking as much this year
they
because
really-
we're so far back, and it's like
Exactly.
I'm just going to enjoy
Zavon Collins. It is Zavon Collins.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, like everyone wants Zavon Collins. Like honestly, can I just be frank with you? I truly think that our linebackers were okay. Because if we play, the 5 defensive backs, we have 3 safeties, 3 solid safeties. I think Grant's going to be coming back. We all saw that hype up video that he had, a couple weeks ago of him working out and stuff. Dude looks great. I love everything about what Grant Delpit threw out there. And then you have Ronnie Harrison, and then John Johnson III. Like, so you have your 3 safeties, you're set there. You're going to be going 2 corners, Denzel, obviously, and probably Troy Hill. You literally just paid the guy. So you go with that. And then you have your defensive line. Now you only have 2 linebacker spots. I think that they love Jacob Phillips. And I think Jacob Phillips had a solid rookie year.
in the film room.
Yeah, I think that he's solid. And then I think that, getting Anthony Walker there for us.
Yes.
Now, he only signed for a 2-year deal, but his leadership is what everyone raves about. He's going to be playing.
Well, we talked about that too. Darius Leonard didn't have to come out and make those videos.
Right.
We had a long conversation about that, so we're not going to dig into it. But he didn't have to say all those things he did on Twitter. He didn't have to make a thank you video.
Yeah.
He did, and he is the name you think of when you think of the Colts defense. And he's saying this about a guy. That is the kind of culture building kind of piece. It's not Pro Football Hall of Fame level talent every single position. Name.
Dude's a baller, though.
Dude's a baller. He's a leader. And that is so important to build to the level that they want to get to, which is hosting and hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. That's where this draft is. I kind of mentioned it there a little bit. I don't know as many of the names. Like, I'm doing my research on some of these guys, and I'm hearing some of the names that are going to be in that area. So I kind of have an idea of, hey, if Brown's pick comes in and that's who they select, let's say it's Zavon Collins, you know what kind of player you're getting, what kind of energy, efforts, what kind, how good is he in coverage, all those little things. That's the sports nerd that I am, and I know a lot of us are, to really dive into it. But I'm just enjoying that the draft is here. Cleveland gets the spotlight. Like, we get to show what this city and what football means to this area. You got Canton 45 minutes away with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. A lot of people are going to be checking that out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of draft experience elements to get people and kids involved down there and get to see downtown. That draft stage is...
It looks cool.
It looks
cool. like an airplane hangar. That's what it looks like.
But those are like LED screens on the outside.
Yeah.
Because I went down there. Fiance and I, we went down. We walked through kind of the helmets. We were trying to. They don't let you walk down. So unless you got a media pass, you can't get close to the stage and see what it looks like. But we could kind of see things kind of playing on the side of the screens, and they have set up stuff for the concerts over the Rock Hall outside. And things are all getting set and ready to go. We're 4 days away from the draft being here. Like, I'm just going to enjoy as a football fan and a lover of the city that I'm from.
Right.
the city of Cleveland, like being able to have that at the forefront again with the sport that we've been wanting to be good at and be talked about being a good team for so long. Peter, I mean, is there something you're looking forward to most about the draft, or is there kind of a player that we were kind of talking about, or a position? Like, is it really cornerback, or I mean, can they just sit there and go best player available?
You know, it's weird because we are so far back in the draft, and I feel like they've made a lot of moves to really solidify the defense. I still would like to see maybe someone in the linebacker or cornerback position. I'd like to see, I think our biggest weakness might be depth.
Yeah.
Those positions, because God forbid, injuries happen. Hopefully we can
Sure.
stay, relatively injury free. But the nice thing is maybe it is just, take the best player available. And, I have a lot of faith in the front office and the Browns leadership right now, because I don't know, like I said, fish out of water. I'm not used to feeling confident that the people, in control of this franchise actually know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
But I have no reason to doubt them right now. So hopefully they don't prove me wrong.
They stick to their board, they stick to their culture, they stick to what they know, and they don't try to act like they know more than other people. They know what they know. They rely on the people within the organization.
Lord knows we've seen that before.
Oh, too many times.
Yeah.
Too many times. It's nice to see a group know what they know, take care of that business, and rely on the people that they've put around them to do what they do well and go out there and build a successful organization. Now, again, we said it last year, and the hype is going to be there about this team for how good and going into the playoffs, that they're going to have to prove it again on the field. We've already mentioned that you don't get to start where you left off. You got to start from the beginning. But to be able to sit there at 26 and have the option of, is there really a player on our board that may fill a need, but fills a need of depth at this particular position, or we can just go best player that's rated on our board right now because they fell to us, send in the card. Maybe we have to trade up a couple spots. Do they trade back? Who knows? But yeah, Peter said it best. We do trust this organization. It doesn't mean you can't criticize them. And I think that's something we missed the conversation last week, and apologies. I wasn't, we weren't able to have a show last week, but life happens. So you gotta take care of those things. But we missed out on the Jadeveon Clowney signing, and then Sheldon Richardson being released the day after. So is there a need at defensive tackle? Or is it just that we need more depth along the defensive line, and that's something that they can do later on the draft? What do you think, Paulus? Going back to that,
I honestly, I think. Well, I mean, you could look at it as a need. I think that we have a lot of good young talent on that defensive line. Jordan Elliott pops in my mind. Andrew Billings, I know, is someone that didn't play last year, but they're very high on. So I would like to see them get the opportunity to take over Sheldon's spot. But I do sense a fear, from a lot of fans anyways, that think that, oh my God, we need to get that defensive line spot, because especially in the defensive tackle area, because, Sheldon was such a huge piece. I think he played like every game, for us last year, and he had a solid year. Don't get me wrong. The guy is solid. He's a really good player. I love Sheldon. But I think that you do have enough talent right now on your roster to take over that. If you wanted to draft someone, I have no issue with that. I know I said Newsome would be my choice, but if the kid from Alabama, I can't remember his
Christian
name.
Barmore.
Christian Barmore, thank you.
People, I don't know if you saw the report today, people saying he wasn't coachable at Alabama, and now it's coming out that they fear his lack of experience, how many years he was actually there and how many games he started. He produced on the field at Alabama. You hadn't heard any of that stuff coming out.
Sure.
Guess what? It's 4 days until the draft.
It's silly season.
People trying to do the same thing they did to Justin Fields a couple weeks ago. Now, whether we know that with Justin it wasn't true, whether it's true about Barmore or not,
right,
we're going to find out soon. But people are trying to throw those stories out there to really have them vetted.
Right, but you're gonna have people out there that are just gonna start throwing out random stuff, and once again, it's silly season, so we understand that. But if there's a talent out there that and the Browns feel that it's a need, I understand that you go and get that guy. So if Barmore's there at 26 and Newsome and all those guys aren't, yeah, absolutely go for it.
Right.
Like I'm totally fine with that. I'm also of the mindset that I kind of feel that Sheldon might come back. Like I know that, whenever he got released, he said that, oh man, this was just starting to feel like home to me. Maybe he comes back, maybe after the draft, maybe we don't take a defensive tackle early, maybe later. And then they go, you know what, let's shore this up. If Sheldon's still available, let's go out and get him, bring him back on a lower base contract, but maybe make it an all guaranteed contract. Maybe that looks a little bit
driven too.
Exactly. Maybe that looks a little bit more lucrative, to him. So maybe bring him back, and then go for that Super Bowl run that we all expect the Browns to 100% try to make.
Right. That's really the expectation for this team.
Yeah.
Based on listening to Andrew Berry in his press conference this week, I could see any position. Now, you can criticize Andrew Berry and the Browns for getting rid of Sheldon Richardson and what he meant to this team, but still have faith that they're going to have an answer, because it's not September. It's not, we're not, this coming Sunday, we're not playing week 1. There is still a lot of time before the NFL season starts. And then maybe if they don't address defensive tackle in the draft and they don't bring back Sheldon over the next week or so, once you get into training camp, cuts happen and surprising cuts happen. And there's going to be players looking for deals like that, like a lower end deal, all guaranteed, incentive driven, that you bring in to kind of give them a try, and hopefully they amount to something for you. So there's still more options to fill that spot.
Yeah.
Depth at cornerback or linebacker would be what I would think need-wise and would like to see. But if they go based on their board and they just add depth to another position because they get best player available and they're thinking about the future, while they're going to roll out all of these big names right now, and you're bringing the young guy in to learn from those big names that are willing to teach them, and from this coaching staff that's so willing to bring guys along the right way and put them in the position to succeed, I have that faith in this organization to do that. They got to continue to prove it. I'm not saying that they have fully established anything, but they have set themselves up to allow for that faith in them to be there. While maybe you kind of criticize or question, you can still question and have faith in a person. I question getting rid of Sheldon Richardson, but I have faith and trust in Andrew Berry, this front office, and coaching staff that they will find an answer so that is not something that you see as a gaping hole once the season starts. It won't be a conversation about need once the season starts. Looking at the draft as a whole, though, anybody, Paulus, we kind of talked a few weeks back, any hot takes you got about any players in the draft or any teams? I mean, we already saw Ed in Columbus is, kind of putting the Jets under the bus.
Right. No doubt. And I agree with, Ed, because I do feel like Zach Wilson's a little bit of a reach, I don't want to say he's an unproven talent, because I feel like a lot of people view his arm strength as being like elite or next level. I read somewhere that, they're viewing him almost Patrick Mahomes-ish. I'm like, Whoa. Well, let's pump the brakes there.
Slow your roll.
Right, no doubt. But I do view, my hottest take of all hot takes I have for this NFL draft is that I don't trust Trevor Lawrence like everybody does. Now, not to say that the guy won't be a good player or anything like that, but getting drafted in the NFL is a huge thing. Where you end up is a huge deal.
Yes.
And because we drafted Baker, and Baker has turned out to be a great pick there for us. Eventually he is going to sign that long-term deal, and that's going to shut up every hater out there. That being said, Jacksonville is as bad, if not worse, than what the Browns have been over the last 15 years as well. I know that they made an AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles, but then they blew up the team. And now the team has been god-awful the last couple of years. I don't trust their management. I don't trust their coaching staff. I do know Urban Meyer is only going to be there for less than 4 years. And I feel like that change already, like you're setting yourself up for failure, for that point. I think Trevor Lawrence is the second coming of Ryan Tannehill. I feel like he is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, needs to be in the right system there for us. I know everyone's going to give me backlash and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. The guys, Peyton Manning wannabe, like he's been through all the Manning camps, everything like that. Everybody is saying that, his talent will win out.
Right.
I don't believe that. I look at him as Ryan Tannehill. Like I just see Ryan Tannehill. Close your eyes and you think of an athletic quarterback that can throw it for miles, but you got to be in the right situation with the right players around you. I think that's Ryan Tannehill. And Ryan Tannehill has now landed in a situation in Tennessee to where he is, a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah.
But down in Miami, whenever he had Adam Gase, things were not correct. Things were not right. And I blame that on the coach. Okay. I blame that on the coach. But for Trevor, I see him as Ryan Tannehill. That's me though.
I mean, you can also look at Alex Smith too. I mean, number one pick that
he's more talented than Alex Smith.
Right. But a guy that, you think about,
which good luck to him on his happy retirement.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, the way he was able to come back from that injury.
The Comeback Player of the Year award should be named after him, no doubt in my mind.
But a guy that was, had the weight of a franchise, the number one pick on his shoulders,
sure.
And everybody was thinking was the next coming of whatever as a top quarterback. But it wasn't until a few years later where he found the right system, the right set of coaches, and that pressure was kind of off, where he could just go be Alex Smith and be a competent, good starting quarterback in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence does give me some pause for concern.
Sure.
My hot take is if San Francisco, and this is going to sound like I got the scarlet and gray glasses on, but I don't really care. If you take Mac Jones over Justin Fields, maybe even Trey Lance, but Justin Fields in particular, you are making a mistake.
How big of a mistake? Because I do think that if you have pro players around Mac, I think you can win in the NFL. I don't think Mac Jones will never win a Super Bowl. I will bet my entire life savings, which isn't a lot, but I will bet my life savings that Mac Jones will not win a Super Bowl. I agree with you there. I think he will be able to win 9-10 games, though, and fringe playoff quarterback. That's how I view him. How do you view him?
I view him as average, I guess. Okay. I know that San Francisco is ready to win. I think Justin Fields is better for that circumstance because Mac Jones was, kind of able to just that old school kind of stand in the pocket. And it just won the Super Bowl, but Tom Brady is the exception to a lot of rules over time in the NFL.
No doubt.
You can't just expect Mac Jones to be number 3 overall and turn into a Tom Brady-esque quarterback because that doesn't happen because Tom Brady was 199, had 6 other quarterbacks drafted in front of him.
Yeah.
So even that includes Spurgeon Wynn, I believe, in that draft.
It did.
Boy, the lineage of quarterbacks that we had. So glad Baker Mayfield this year in Cleveland.
No doubt. Thank God.
It's just something about Mac Jones just kind of being able to just stand back there with all those wide receivers. And maybe, with San Francisco being so ready.
They're loaded. They are loaded.
You may see like flash in the pan for Mac Jones. He might be the apple of everybody's eye initially.
Sure.
But when contracts have to come up down the line as you review this draft, I just think Justin Fields is more of that solidified, bona fide option there. Jets are already making a mistake going Zach Wilson over Justin Fields, in my opinion.
I agree. I think Justin Wilson. I think Justin Fields.
Put them together, maybe.
Maybe you have the greatest quarterback of all time. I think that he is the second best quarterback of this draft, viewed as, because I still do believe that Trevor Lawrence should be viewed as the number one pick. He's done everything right, but once again, it's the situation that is the killer for him. I think if Justin Fields were to go to San Francisco, it would be a home run hit. But my issue is that Kyle Shanahan has never had a quarterback like that. So Mac Jones fits a lot of what he's had previously.
Makes sense, yeah.
He's had Matt Ryan. He's had Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Was that Brian Hoyer when they were playing?
Brian Hoyer and Brian Hoyer / Johnny. I view Mac as maybe like the better option, like for the Kyle Shanahan offense, but I think you can evolve offenses. I think we've seen that, in the league before. So I think Justin Fields, if you give him the opportunity to work with Kyle Shanahan for a year, and you'll let Jimmy play out this year, keep Fields, on the bench, try and win some games, everything like that. Do the Patrick Mahomes route. Do the Patty Mahomes, let him sit on the bench, let him learn from the vet. As soon as the vet is done this year, you drop the vet, whatever is left on his contract, or try and trade him, do whatever you can. But Fields should be the future of the 49ers. I'm 100% with you there.
Yeah, future of the 49ers. I'm just glad we don't have to break down all these quarterbacks, watch every single pro day and every single throw that they make and decision that they've made. Justin Fields is a baller, and these quarterbacks are good. They do things well that are going to help teams. If they get put in the right situation, you've said it best throughout the show. If quarterback gets put in the right situation, they're going to have success. And I will gladly come on the show and say I was wrong about Mac Jones if he plays well and is the right fit for the 49ers, because guess what? I don't care.
Right.
As long as we beat them, I don't care.
We have no issues coming out and saying we were wrong. But at the same time, we try and be right.
We try.
we try. And once again, I fully 100% believe that Trevor is the next Ryan Tannehill. That doesn't mean he's going to suck. That means that he's going to be a fringe playoff, a fringe playoff quarterback / fringe Pro Bowl quarterback in the right setting.
And can make that one big run in the playoffs, but it's not going to be consistent throughout the time.
I'm sorry. I don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars winning a Super Bowl. Sorry. Don't see it.
As much as I love Urban Meyer at Ohio State, I guess somewhat of a hot take, if things go south or maybe stories come out of what's going on in that locker room like you used to see with the Browns, with a dysfunctional organization, he could step away. Not saying he's going to say, it's the medical, because he's had legitimate medical concerns. But he's going to – I just think that he's going to get himself
out. Those migraines might start coming back a little. Those migraines might start happening a little too much.
I was just trying to keep it to a low simmer.
Oh, no. I get it. I get it. But unfortunately, that's his MO.
I know.
So
I just, I don't want to say anything about the medical side, because I know that there are things going on. It's
no doubt. Yeah.
He tends to at least step aside when things seem to go south. There's always those storylines.
The London Jaguars maybe in 2030. I don't see Jacksonville winning it, but maybe London. Yeah, London maybe. Who knows?
Well, he'd make
well done, Kelly. Kelly is the best. That is her that's her tweet info. So
they moved to London. What are they? The Royal Guard or something that just stand.
Oh yeah,
Trevor Lawrence would fit that uniform real well if he gets stuck out there in London. But only time's going to tell, and we have faith that the Browns are going to figure out a way to add depth and add pieces to this team that they have fully vetted, that are just going to add to the high expectations and the quest that this team is on this season. Team that's playing right now and has a game every day, the Cleveland Indians, who are sitting at 9-11 through 20 games. Just broke a 4-game losing streak by beating the Yankees 7-3 today. They lost the first 3 of that 4-game series. They would score the first 2 games, scoring the first 3 runs in the first inning. And then, kind of the home run ball. You allowed the Yankees, who were the worst team in baseball, to come into town. They couldn't make a defensive play to save their life. Their top hitters were, a lot A lot of cool breezes coming off the off of home plate there at Yankee Stadium, and even a few last night when I was there at Progressive Field watching the game. A beauty of a pitcher's duel between two of the game's best in Garrett Cole and Shane Bieber. Just two mistakes by Bieber, and an offense that can't consistently get things going. It's either all or nothing. It was better to see today the 2-out hits. Again, that small ball, getting hits with runners in scoring position. They're among the worst in the league at all of those, in all those categories. Are you starting to see the team you expected? They are who we thought they were. Shout out to Jordan Klimek for that gift last night. But are they who you think they are going to be? Or is it, maybe just April baseball in Cleveland, just same old, and Terry will get these guys right as the season goes along?
We said at the beginning of the year, I think that this is a 500 to a slightly below 500 team. Great pitching, terrible offense. Like that's what we've seen, years on end here in Cleveland. Okay. We have by far one of the top end best pitching staffs. Bullpen, starters. Logan Allen sucks right now, but it is what it is.
He shouldn't be starting. Should not.
He probably shouldn't be, but once again, we'll work it out. Yeah. Okay. I have faith the guy can turn it around.
Right.
He has the stuff.
He does.
We know that. His velocity's been down a little bit. They talked about it after the game. It is what it is. You just can't be throwing meatballs over the plate. That's your issue right now. That being said, though, the offense, I'm sorry, we have one guy that's hitting over 250 right now. Another guy, Jose's batting 247. So it's not like I don't want to throw him under the bus as well, but I'm sorry, you're hitting 247 right now, that you should be hitting higher than that. It is early in the year, so it is what it is. Okay. Going on, give it another month or so, and maybe we can talk about this again. But Franmiel's the only dude that's hitting right now. He's
hitting and running.
He has AL's co-leader in triples, which he had the first one of his career the other day, second one today. So
in a ballpark that doesn't really give you triples.
It's a terrible triple ballpark. So, but Franmiel is really the only guy that's hitting right now. Just this offense sucks. We need guys that can produce, and I'm sorry, you need to bring up Bobby Bradley. You absolutely need to. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing this trash that we have on at first base. I'm sorry, it's god awful. I'm sick and tired of it. You got to bring him up. You got to bring up Bradley. We got to see something. The guy's got to prove that he's better than what we have right now. I'm tired of seeing Yu Chang out there. I'm tired of seeing Naylor bobble balls and I'm just done with it. I'm just done with that. Just bring up Bobby Bradley. Let's get this going. Let's get that career started. Let's see what he can do. Because if he sucks, then you got to find the other guy. That's what it's coming down to. So
best thing about Yu Chang right now is he comes up to the Soldier Boy, crank that
Soldier Boy. Yeah.
But it really has been been tough to watch the first base kind of experiments. Josh Naylor, he's an outfielder. There was a pop fly today in the infield. Cesar's calling him off as the second baseman, and but Naylor's going after because he's an outfielder. That's what he's known to do. There's a flip, and it wasn't a great flip. I forget who was pitching at the time. It may have been Quantrill, who we got from the Padres as part of those deals last year. But it was kind of a flip out of the glove, kind of took over to his bare hand, but instead of reaching the glove across, which he had plenty of space to reach across to try to get it, tried to go with the bare hand. It scoots out. Of course, he had that when the Indians were up. I think it was 2-1.
The Buckner play.
The
Bill
Buckner play. He had made the first two and then just kind of got nonchalant with it, kind of overconfident. Yu Chang, who hits well in spring training, but you don't really ever see any of that pop during the season.
Yep.
Bowers can't hit anything, hasn't been able to hit anything. That's why Tampa Bay, while he was a top prospect, was so willing to give him up. Our top prospects that we were willing to give up for all these different pieces, like Yandy Diaz, Gio Urshela, you had this plethora of talent you could use to get players to make your playoff runs. Now they're balling out, and you got what you thought these players were going to turn into for other teams. Peter, I know you're as big of an Indians fan as anybody around this table. What you thought they were going to be, or kind of how do you see this first month kind of going? It almost feels like more than a month of baseball in less than a month's time that we've already watched.
See, it's interesting you said that because Jacob and I were talking before you guys got here, and Jacob made the astute observation that if you want to see the Indians win, you got to go on a Sunday. Because
Okay.
they are 4-0 on Sunday.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Yep,
Wow.
they've won every Sunday. So, and I went back and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
The first game was the beginning of April. It's only been a month of baseball.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been so much longer than that. I kind of chalk it up to it's April baseball in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the offense has been awful. No doubt about it. I mean, thank God our pitching is fantastic. I think it'll turn around. I still think they're going to be over 500. They're not going to win 100 games.
Right.
They're going to be.
You think like 85 though?
85, depending on how they turn around. Maybe they possibly 90. I'll say possibly 90, but
Peter, let me ask you this question, and this will be telling.
okay.
If you had to bet a significant amount of money on it, how many wins? Over under 83. I'm talking a significant amount. I'm talking mortgage payment. Would you be willing to throw that down?
Over 83.
You would be willing to do
I
that?
would take over.
Wow. Okay. I'm banging the under on that.
It might be 84.
So you'd be sweating bullets the entire year. That's that's fair. Like
Just like anybody trying to bet the over with the Cavs win.
Jeez.
That are waiting for that 22nd one.
Right,
now.
yeah. Well, hey, maybe tonight. I saw that
Wizards.
they were winning.
Wizards are one of the hottest teams, though.
Yeah,
They play
yeah.
defense in that second half. That's
Yeah, I know we're not talking about them right now, but
know.
I mean Garland and Sexton have been balling like lately. Yeah, averaging like 55 points between the two of them. You need that third player.
Yeah.
You need that third player to really step it up.
They got to close it out though. The Cavs.
Yeah.
Mm.
You were talking about watching the Indians. I went to watch them today. Sorry, not available in your area. YouTube TV's finally got MLB on there, but it's blacked out.
Yep.
So at least I can maybe watch when they're not at home, which is a disappointment.
It's a shame.
I've listened to a bunch of Cavs games coming home from like late night meetings.
Yeah.
They're up, and just as the game winds down, they just run out of gas.
Best news I've heard, and before I throw it over to you for your Indians take, best news I've heard all freaking week. Hulu is getting NFL Red Zone, and Hulu is getting the NFL Network again. Hulu Live. I can't wait. Like, oh my God. Have you ever watched Red Zone?
Yeah, I have.
It is the best thing in the entire world. It truly is. Like, I could watch Red Zone the rest of my life because it is that awesome. So
I need to go back to doing that because the year I did like pretty well at fantasy football, like after
Red
Browns
Zone.
games, I watched Red Zone, so I was
Right.
able to keep track of a lot of
No
these
doubt,
guys, and
yeah.
I could see kind of what they were doing. I don't really watch a lot of
view them up and
It's tough to because you don't always get afternoon and like primetime games. Like you don't get like the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock on both CBS and Fox all the time in your area. So it's tough for that. One hot take before I talk Indians. The nickname that I hate the most.
What's that?
Sexland.
Sexland.
It's
an overrated name, but like you don't have anything better. It's that's the issue.
I understand. It's just like, if someone like you're having a conversation about the Cavs and someone comes into the conversation and you're talking to your buddies and you say like, man, Cleveland Cavs are, playing well. Cleveland Sexland.
Right.
Like what? Huh?
Yeah, no, it's
I hate it so much.
It's not a good nickname, but unfortunately, like that's the only thing that we got going on right now.
I think that's the thing I hate the most. It's like there's nothing.
You can't just that nickname.
There's nothing you can have better.
There's no
than
avoiding it.
Like there's nothing you can put in place of it. So I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Indians though, boy, I definitely wouldn't put mortgage payment on the over right now. From what we've seen,
yeah.
I'm still gonna have my faith in Terry Francona. I was at the game last night with the future in-laws, future awesome mother-in-law, and future awesome father-in-law last night. Shout out to Janet and Tim Fenstermaker. Father-in-law actually caught a pretty nice trout up over in Chagrin River.
Nice.
He was. He's like, I'm gonna be coming up here and I'm teaching you how to fish. So, I try to get a like those styrofoam
Like
coolers.
Yeah.
And I thought I got one that was like long enough, deep enough. I'm like,
Nope.
how big is this fish? And they come upstairs after they're trying to put it in when they got home, and like, nope, not big enough. I was like, well, I tried. Dollar store only had so much. Sorry. But we were sitting there at the game last night, and I was saying, Terry Francona, best manager in baseball, but there's only so much you can do with what you're given.
Sure.
And, mother-in-law kind of asked, how does this team get better? And Jana, fiance, looks at him and says, Dolan sell the team. And I know we kind of go back and forth and we talk about how the Dolans are cheap and people are fans are always on the bandwagon of sell the team. But really, that's really the way it goes, because while the Indians lost an opportunity in 2016, the players didn't get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
As much as there was the juju of the rain delay.
A lot of things went into it.
A lot of things went into it, but the players didn't get the job done. Then you saw this team tail off and guys start to leave because you were only willing to pay for 1 year. Other mid-market teams that are seeing a window of success are willing to pay for a little bit longer, especially when you have as much money as the Dolans do and act like they have nothing.
Yeah.
That's the most frustrating part. You are a billion-dollar owner in professional sports, and you're saying we have to cut costs. We have to be one of the lowest payrolls, lower than you really ever see most years, even with the worst teams in baseball. That's the most frustrating part. The other frustrating part was, besides today, you don't see the energy, you don't see the heart in this team. And yeah, when you're losing, that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it when they were kind of winning a few games at the start of the season. Like Naylor was one of those energy guys that came in last year. You see nothing from him. Franmil's having fun out there, but he's hitting the ball well. Nobody's trying to, you're still playing a kid's game, and you're being paid to play a kid's game, so you're still having fun playing that game and doing it for a purpose at the professional level. There's none of that heart to get things turned around. Manager can give you the lineup and put you in the right position all they want. Players aren't going to go out there and do it and get the job done and say, look, this is it. Our pitchers are putting their careers on the line here. They're balling out for us, and we can't back them up. Somebody has got to step up. They've lost a lot of leadership in that clubhouse from player standpoint. Someone's going to need to develop leadership skills, and in a hurry, before this thing really gets out of hand or the bottom falls out. We'll see. Maybe today's offensive outburst, hopefully that's kind of maybe a springboard. Minnesota Twins coming in for a 3-game series at Progressive Field. Now, we are kind of at our time. I know we kind of teased about talking about the Oscars or what you kind of watch, but everybody tune in. I mean, anything that you're really high on. I know you were watching Mortal Kombat, but
So you know what? Like, just real quick with Mortal Kombat before we get into this topic. Mortal Kombat should be a fun, bloody movie. That's exactly what it was.
I hate movies like that.
If you like fun and you like blood and you like the game, you're gonna love the movie. For the people that have been ripping it, and I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh my God, this is great," and I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" And then I've seen a lot of people like, "Oh my God, this is so I just didn't like it. The dialogue was stupid." And what did you think it was? Citizen Kane? Like, come on! Like, this isn't The Godfather. This is a not a shoot 'em up movie, but it's just a fun, stupid movie with crappy dialogue, but like a lot of kills. Like, it's good. It's a good movie. So like, I just wanted to throw that out there, but. I did want to bring up it is Oscar night, here for us. They're literally just starting here for us. I want to know from you guys, what is the best thing? And it doesn't have to be movies, okay? Because let's be honest, due to the pandemic, a lot of movies have been backtracked and, and things have been moved around. There were a couple of good movies, but then there's been some crap ones. But like movies, TV shows, what's the best thing that you've seen over the last year?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That's the best thing you've seen. That's fine.
That's the best thing I've seen. WandaVision was good. It got me like I'm always gonna be in it for Marvel, but boy, the underlying kind of messages and themes beyond building the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe through some of these shows, the other stuff and the impact that a show like that in just 6 episodes can have in a more far-reaching level.
Oh, they reached some stuff.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they do.
I know it's
Isaiah
all over.
Bradley. That's all you got to say.
Yes.
Isaiah Bradley. God bless him.
God bless Isaiah Bradley. I know it's all over Twitter, but if people are able to the people that haven't seen it yet and they've been able to keep themselves in the shell that don't know and they're tuning in right now, still not going to give spoilers.
No.
Not giving spoilers, but best thing that I've seen for so many different reasons that I wish I could get into right now.
Sure.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay. Peter.
It's interesting because I really liked WandaVision, and I know Nick didn't care for it.
I did not.
But I appreciated it for what it was and how they did it because it was such a departure. Falcon and Winter Soldier I thought was great. There were some things in it I'm like,
right.
And part of it maybe because I don't know the backstories as well as as a lot of people and a lot of the little details in the MCU because there is so much and my brain can only my brain can barely function making this show run, let alone trying to keep track of everything in the MCU.
Right.
But I was thinking, I'm thinking back like a year, and I'm like, one of the greatest things I'd have to say that I watched was probably still Tiger King because I'll tell you what, watching because I feel damn good about my life watching that show.
Tiger King was all over the place. That thing was crazy
because it was so ludicrous.
Sure.
That I'm like, man, I could probably do the craziest thing I could think of. Wouldn't compare.
Yeah.
So
that was a trend I wasn't interested in. Like,
Tiger King. Now, did you ever watch it or no?
No. Like I never had.
It's over now. Like, but yeah.
Like I never had an inkling to want to watch it. Like we may get a show TikTok and join that trend. Like I'm not really.
That's a good point.
I'm not really
looking forward to it, but maybe one day.
I think Kevin should watch it because.
I'll tell you this. I remember the first couple episodes. Honestly, I laughed hysterically. Thought it was hilarious. And then in the middle episodes, because I think there's 6 or 9 episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
It was
a big gap.
It was
watching 6. Am I watching 9?
Well, but it was a series. But like the first 3 episodes were first 2 or 3 were hilarious. And but like some crazy stuff happens and you're like, oh my God. Yeah, Peter, you're absolutely right. Like, oh my, I'm so happy this is, this isn't my life. But then the middle episodes are like literally a mystery doc. And you're like, this is nuts. And then the final episodes, you're like waiting for something huge to happen. And like, it's crazy. Like I do suggest watching it, especially now because no one's going to talk about it. Like you can do it at your leisure.
Yeah.
But it is,
If nothing else, go on YouTube. I'll plug this guy. Not that he needs my plug because he's got 1 million subscribers. Ryan George.
Okay.
He's a comedian. He does these pitch meetings where he, in front of a green screen, he's talking to himself, basically, the producer and the guy pitching the movie. Watch the pitch meeting for Tiger King because he kind of recap and actually watch for some of the MCU ones too because he points out all the little like weird things that's like, well, why does that happen? It just does. Okay, it's like whatever. Why did they do that? Because we make money. I like it.
I like it.
Watch that because the Tiger King, like I said, it's just it's like White Boy. The documentary I just watched.
Yeah, I'm so happy you watched White Boy. White Boy, for a documentary, crazy.
Holy cow.
How nuts is that doc?
It's
so good. It's like, Kevin, watch it. If you haven't watched it, watch it because it is just all about this white drug dealer who was like living. This was back in the 80s in Detroit and like biggest drug dealer he's 17 years old. He's 17 years old, and then you find out like all this stuff about how he was working with the feds. Dude, it is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Watch it. Definitely watch White Boy.
So I'll take the advice under consideration.
Sure.
The one probably more in a more serious manner than the first, but
sure. I would suggest if you're gonna watch either of them, watch White Boy.
Okay.
Like would you agree with that?
I think so because the amount
it's just a better
the amount of like corruption and just shady crap going on.
Yeah.
This is Detroit in the
in
80s.
the 80s. You
And
already
it's
know it's bad.
Oh, it's nuts. If you want to feel if you want to feel a lot better about your life, no matter what
Tiger
your situation
King.
is, watch Tiger King,
Yeah.
because you'll be like, holy crap, I can't believe people like that exist.
No doubt. And obviously we're way over. We're
I
just
know.
going to keep rolling with it.
I know.
So for because once again, I'd also like to hear a worst from you guys, but I'm going to give you my best and worst
Okay.
right now, and then we'll go around for your guys' worst. My best, okay, movie wise, wasn't a whole lot of movies that I was like super down with. The one movie I couldn't wait for, and whenever it came out, it didn't like. I mean, I thought it lived up to it, but like maybe not. Like I'll go back and watch it every once in a while. Tenet.
Okay.
Tenet, from
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, dude who made Batman movies, Inception, all that stuff, Memento. Probably my favorite director, one of my favorite directors out there right now, made Tenet. Tenet is a ridiculously awesome movie. So like, I really like Tenet. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. I think you can watch it. It's on some sort of streaming platform. I know that for a fact. But so I'm going to go with that. Falcon Winter Soldier is right up there, but the thing that beats it out, Mandalorian. The Mandalorian season 2 was probably some of the best television that I have ever watched for a straight up season. Easily, and I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You just watched the final episode yesterday. Great. But that final episode for the Mandalorian, whenever everything comes together, and like, once again, no spoilers here, but you see the dude, and like, you all know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
You see him, like
Chills.
goosebumps,
Yep.
chills, a tear. Like, it was one of the best finales of a season that I have ever watched, because I've never been more hyped up to see that dude step into that role. And it was pitch perfect. That entire second season of Mandalorian is awesome. Falcon Winter Soldier, epic as well. And like, I was talking to our buddy Tyler, a shout out, and Falcon and Winter Soldier is probably better than like 80 to 90% of the MCU movies. And like, I love the MCU movies, but it is that deep, that good. And like, and what's crazy is that I thought that they couldn't top, a lot of things, because like, we love Bucky, we love Falcon, but like, are they really like the guys that can stand up and do a main show or movie?
Right.
And they performed their asses off. Bucky, oh my God. Sam Wilson, oh my God. Zemo was awesome.
Have you seen the Zemo remix?
Yeah, oh yeah, wherever he's dancing. Yeah, so that's, it's awesome. But yeah, so those were my favorites. My least favorites here for me real quick, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1980, 84.
Oh, yeah.
God, was that just the longest freaking movie I had ever watched in my entire life. I was so upset because I really liked the first one. The first one was solid. And then that one just was like, oh my God, that took forever. And I watched it on Christmas. Like, I don't want to say ruined my Christmas, but like, 2 hours of my life, 2.5 hours of my life, I'll never get that back. So like, that was a disappointment there for us. And then I'm sorry, you guys said you liked it. I didn't. WandaVision. I understand and agree with you. They went out on a limb. They did something different. I respect, the MCU for doing something different and setting up a lot of different things going forward. Doctor Strange movies and, and Captain Marvel too. Like, I respect that.
Yeah.
It just felt rushed to me. That final episode felt really weird. And like, I learned up that they rushed it because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Literally just started. So they were like trying to like, oh, we got to finish it. So like there you go.
Yeah, it was a fast end to
It was a very fast ending. Like, Darcy had no lines. Like, she runs into the guy with her whatever. I'm like, come on, really? Like, that's how you end Darcy right there? Like, that's how that, okay, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna say WandaVision. Yeah, I just didn't like it. The first couple episodes were god awful. I didn't want to watch them. Next couple episodes, I was like, cool. They're setting up something. Oh my God, here we go. Like X-Men. Here we go. And then it, once again, and like somewhat of a spoiler, it was all for a boner joke. And like that disappointed the hell out of me, man. I was furious whenever I saw that. So that's my best and worst. So I want to hear your guys' worst.
Peter, your worst?
I can't even really think of a worse. It may have been Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
But I had friends that basically they didn't really spoil it.
Yeah.
But they called out like the ridiculousness of it. That I was like, and I disagree with you, Nick, because the first one, it was okay.
I didn't say it's not the greatest thing ever. Like, it's not even the best DC movie. The best DC movie, by the way, is the new remake of the Justice League movie, which I didn't have in my top 3, but it was damn good. Okay. It was 4 hours, but it was damn good.
Well, I can't really think of anything bad that I've watched.
Yeah,
thank God, because last year's been crazy enough. But yeah, what I heard about Wonder Woman 1984, I was just like, wow, I can't even. I mean, I watched Kong versus Godzilla, and that movie was, it was a King Kong versus Godzilla movie. I was not disappointed because it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And it was ridiculous, and it was a popcorn movie, and it was just.
And I gotta
Kong beating up Godzilla and vice versa.
I was gonna say I gotta call myself out for this because like I just told you Mortal Kombat, like you're going into it, what do you expect? Going into King Kong and Godzilla, like what do you expect? You expect a monkey beating up a lizard, and like that's how I should view it. But like I was so pumped up about King Kong, King of the Monsters, and that movie was okay. It was okay. It was pretty good. And then this one, I was like so hyped for it, and then it just sucked. Okay. So like I agree with you, it wasn't great.
I can't think of anything. I'm just ashamed of myself that I guess didn't mention Mandalorian as the best. Yeah. But with how time has gone during the pandemic, you feel like I've been waiting for the next Mandalorian season for over a year.
Right.
And it's been just since December that it wrapped up? Or
it wrapped up December. Yeah.
Oh my God, really,
dude? Yeah. I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the next one's supposed to be coming out, I believe, in October or November.
Wow. Okay. I feel like it's been way longer than that.
Well, right. Yeah. But Mandalorian. I mean, it's so good.
It's a pandemic. Time means nothing anymore.
That's a good point.
Our show is showing right now.
Right. Yeah. We're just rolling through it.
We're just rolling through it. But that is going to wrap it up for this edition of the Voice of the Land. A little bit of a bigger edition, being off a couple weeks.
Oscar previews as well. How about that?
Oscar previews as well. When you're not in front of a mic for a little while. I mean, Paulus, you've been doing a great job, of course, being producer for a really big show.
Appreciate that. Yeah, let me tell you, by the way, waking up at 3:00 every morning to drive up to Cleveland, that is, God bless you, Chris Oldak. That's a tough thing to do. That, balancing everything, it's tip the cap. No doubt. Cap,
just like we did to Clint Frazier's catch later on in that game. That was
nuts.
Something to see. No matter how you feel about the Yankees, that's a play that'll be top 10 worthy for sure. But for my brother Nick Paulus, our producer extraordinaire Peter Tellup, I am Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you out there, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. Enjoy draft week. Let's promote this city. Let's show the world and this nation what Cleveland is all about as a football town. And we love you all. 3,000. We will see you all next week for our draft review.